This is the 8th video in a series showing how to set up, configure, test, and debug the MVS Toolkit. In this video, we'll cover starting the Toolkit server in Foreground, which is the most common Toolkit-specific debugging technique. Running the Toolkit server in Foreground is a good way to see why it's not starting or not listening on 8181 and/or 3410. To do this on Windows, stop the Rocket MV Web Service in the Windows Service Control Manager. Launch a command prompt as administrator, cd to the appropriate path. On version 2.2.3 and older, the default path is Program Files x86, Rocket Software, MVS Server Programs Bin. On version 2.3.1 and above, it's Program Files instead of Program Files x86. If you didn't install using the default path, use whatever means necessary to find the drive and path to the MVS directory and go to Server Programs Bin from there. Once in the bin directory, enter bootstrap and watch the output. Once you're done examining this, do a Control-C to terminate the server and restart the service in the Windows Service Control Manager. To run the Toolkit server in Foreground on Linux, make sure you're logged in as root. Stop the Toolkit service using service mvserv stop. cd to the appropriate path. The default path is user local Rocket Software MVS Server Programs Bin. Note that the Rocket Software is one word, no spaces like Windows, with the R and the S capitalized. If you didn't install using the default path, use whatever means necessary to find the path to the MVS directory and go to Server Programs Bin from there. Once in the bin directory, enter /bootstrap.sh and watch the output. Once you're done examining this, do a Control-C to terminate the server. Restart the service using service mv.serv start. If you were running the Toolkit in Foreground as the root user, the MVS-TK log files end up being owned by the root user, causing the next non-root user startup of the Toolkit to fail with permission errors. To resolve this, change the ownership back to mv-admin:/mv group. cd to the MVS server directory, change own -R mv-admin:/mv group. This slide shows an abbreviated display of the server started successfully in the foreground. Notice the ready messages at the bottom. This slide shows an abbreviated display of the server failing to start successfully in the foreground. Notice the exception and the failure messages. In the next video, we'll talk about fixing a corrupt Toolkit database and adding memory to the Toolkit's JVM. If you have any questions about any of the content we've covered so far, please contact Rocket D3 support.